hello to you listening from wherever you are in the world. Thank you so much for tuning in to Music Marvels with Achickwitbeatz and Breezy Gipson. I am music producer Achickwitbeatz, and my co-host, entrepreneur Breezy Gipson, is out for the moment, but you know it's customary for us to do this. It's Women's History Month. So of course we got to highlight some of the wonderful women that we've had on our show and had the pleasure of speaking with and hearing their stories. So for this week, we're actually going to highlight some of our conversations with Oiku Dogan, Deep Spawn Logic, and Ann Sharia. So, before we even get it completely off the ground, we definitely want to shout out our home stations, Grander Radio out of Grand Rapids, Michigan, and Sparks Radio out of Atlanta, Georgia. So, of course, we've got those interviews, beats by yours truly, so stick around. It's going to be a great show. And without any further ado, let's go.
Hey, this is Breezy Gipson. Would you like to learn about our music profit program and fast track your earning all the money from your music sales without some big company digging their hands into your money before you even can get it? Visit musicflow.now.site, fill out the form, and I'll get you some information about our program. Doesn't matter what country you're in. Again, that's musicflow.now.site. That way, you can learn about how you can get all the money from your music before some big company digs their hands into it before you even get it.
Hey, this is Achickwitbeatz. I am a multi-genre music producer and strategist to indie artists and labels. Visit my website, achickwitbeatz.com, for resources for artists and instrumentals available in various genres for songs, vlogs, blogs, podcasts, themes, TV, film, commercials, and more. Once again, that's achickwitbeatz.com, ACHICKWITBEATZ. Let's make something happen.
Oh man, we are just excited. We stay excited here, but with good reason and great reason, because today we are joined by a young lady who is touching a lot of folks in a lot of places all around the globe with her talents, with her personality, with her sound. And so I guess without any further ado, we're not going to steal any of her thunder. Bring her right to you right now, the one and only incredible Oiku Dogan. Miss Dogan, are you with us?
Wow, what a lovely introduction. Thank you. I'm super excited.
Yeah, well, thank you for your comment. And but an introduction, it couldn't be any less. For a guest like you, it couldn't be any less than what it was, even maybe more. So, so yeah, thank you for taking your time to join us on this day. Now, Achickwitbeatz and I, we're familiar with you, but we may have new listeners that aren't. So, in a nutshell, can you share a little bit about who is Oiku and just what is she about today in this year we're in right now?
I'm a singer-songwriter. I'm based in Italy, but I was born in Turkey. I have released different albums and songs in the past, and I keep doing it because music is my life. Yeah, it might seem cheesy, but it's the truth. I'm also a composer and also a jazz pianist. I mainly focus on pop and indie music for my singer-songwriter career, but I love to try also different styles. So this is like the short version of what I could say about myself.
Okay. Achickwitbeatz, what you think about that?
I mean, I just think it's a wonderful thing to have so many talents and be able to exercise them in the manner that you do. Is there, would you say, maybe someone or something that inspired you to be a songwriter in addition to being a singer?
I think my songwriting and composing instinct came even before singing. I mean, Of course, I was singing even when I was a baby. I was inventing melodies, but I started playing the piano when I was 5, and as soon as I was able to play some melodies and things, I started composing. So it came before. And then, of course, I always loved singing, but I started to take it seriously later. I was in children's choirs and everything, but as an actual singer, I think I started when I was a teenager, and then I started writing lyrics when I was a teenager. So yeah, it was like this, the timeline of it.
Very
Actually, yeah. I wrote my first song with guitar, which is really ironic because I'm actually very good at playing the piano, the guitar. I only played for a few years. So, but I think it inspired me to start writing lyrics and start writing songs.
Wow. Yeah, that's pretty incredible. Don't you think, Reese?
Yes, when I think of such a ball of incredibleness that we see in you, and now that we hear you speak again, there's a lot of talent inside that is just boiled up all into one ball. Going into different directions as far as the singing, as far as the writing, as far as piano, being a pianist at a young age of 5 on a guitar and this, that, the other. You're a lot of times super big things come in small packages. Wouldn't you agree?
Well, I mean, I appreciate all these amazing things that you're saying about me. Um, yeah, I think I've always been very open-minded, and I always love, also in a normal day, I love multitasking, and I think this also affects how I view the music. So I love different genres. I love doing different things at the same time. I don't like to limit myself just with one thing. I love to discover new things, different things. And yeah, in the past, maybe, I don't know, some teachers or producers, they always told me to just choose one path and go with it. But that wasn't me. So I'm so glad that in the end I listened to my instincts. So yeah.
Yeah. Because a lot of times when people can't see the full picture, like maybe their particular vision is narrow, a lot of times they kind of try to inflict that on others. But everything that you said has just pointed back to the fact that it's just in you, especially as you're creating melodies as, a little one. And like Breezy said, when you had mentioned that you started playing instruments so early, if it's just in you the way that it is, it makes sense that it's coming out at different times and different ways. And, yeah, it'd be truly a shame to stifle that. I'm glad you didn't listen too.
Thanks.
Well,
no.
we'll see. Now, those are a couple of things right there that you and I share in common because at age 5, my mother had me joining a piano academy. Okay, but then by age 11 or 12, I too was becoming a guitarist, a kid guitarist. Okay, and so I don't know how many people that I have shared this with that I felt that, just those two elements right there allowed my my personality to prosper, my brain to develop, and in many ways. Okay, so could you agree with what I'm saying with yourself as far as the piano, and then easing to the guitar, and then you found yourself a little bit more ambidextrous? Is that true?
Yeah, I totally agree with what you're saying. I think also all of these different things maybe activate different parts of your personality. They also, you use different parts of your brain for each of these things. The piano is very complicated, sophisticated, also how the brain works for playing the piano, or maybe singing. In that case, you should be more extroverted. Composing, you should be more maybe introverted. So I think it connects with different parts of who you are. I mean, in the end, all of these small things, they create you, and they all come together. Also, maybe that's why I became more, like, as a person, international. I moved to another country. I have friends from different cultures. They're all, little pieces coming together. And yeah, so yeah, totally understand and agree with what you're saying.
Okay. And so now, along with that, I also see a certain vision and hear a certain vision from you now as being an influencer and cultivator with our young folks these days, because the words that are coming from you right now are words that our younger folks really need to hear. Okay, a lot of times they're not exposed to folks who are multi-talented as you are, and so I think, just off the top, that around children or around younger folks, that you would be a real big positive influence. You think?
Thanks a lot. Actually, the last time we were talking, I think I still wasn't, but now I'm teaching, like I'm a vocal coach. It's been a few years. And before, I'm gonna be honest, it was never something that I was thinking of doing, teaching. It wasn't my dream because I've never tried it. But now that I started doing it, I really, really love it. And being able to share these wonderful things, and also seeing the results, being able to inspire someone, it's really magical. And I think it helps you grow as well. I also learned a lot of things from them, for example. And the great thing is the youngest one is 9 years old. The oldest one is more than 60 years old. And I have different students with different backgrounds, but we're sharing the music and it connects us all, and it's really special. So yeah, I feel really grateful about this experience, which is something new that happened in these years, let's say.
Well, Achickwitbeatz, I got to ask you a question. Wouldn't you agree? I bet those young folks are just soaking up every bit from Miss Dogan as far as what she's teaching and training and sharing. What do you think?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, think about how much we're getting right now, just from talking. So yeah, I think that's a beautiful thing, to be able to share your wisdom with them. And, because you've dropped so many gems since we've even started this particular interview. So yeah, I know that they're definitely benefiting from it. I think we kind of talked the last time a little bit about what it's like being from Turkey and then, in Italy. How has that kind of shaped your music, just for any new listeners that, might be kind of curious, being in a country that's not your own and just kind of absorbing the culture in addition to what you've already had as a foundation?
I think, but traveling in general, but also moving to a different country. I came to Italy to study music. I have always studied, but this was for college. So it was like a big decision, saying that I'm going to dedicate my life to this thing. So, seeing people from different cultures. Also, Italy is very important if you think about the music history. So seeing also, it's a wonderful, really beautiful country. It also changes, your point of view, because also Turkey is very beautiful, but it's different. So how you create music, I think, changes. Like the vibes are so different. So maybe how the way you are inspired changes a lot. Those are the first things that I've noticed, how you approach, maybe especially composing, creating. There are also a lot of similarities. Both are Mediterranean countries and people are really warm and friendly. So I would never be able to survive otherwise, because I'm also quite friendly and I love, those interactions and everything, sharing ideas and collaborations. So yeah, some things work different, some things were quite similar. And I also love traveling a lot. Whenever I go to a different city or a different country, I come back and I already feel a little changed. So maybe this adds something else also to the music. And it's just like what we said before, adding different elements and to the big picture, let's say.
This is Breezy Gipson. Would you like to learn about our music profit program and fast track your earning all the money from your music sales without some big company digging their hands into your money before you even can get it? Visit musicflow.now.site, fill out the form, and I'll get you some information about our program. Doesn't matter what country you're in. Again, that's musicflow.now.site. That way, you can learn about how you can get all the money from your music before some big company digs their hands into it before you even get it.
Hey, this is Achickwitbeatz. I am a multi-genre music producer and strategist to indie artists and labels. Visit my website, achickwitbeatz.com, for resources for artists and instrumentals available in various genres for songs, vlogs, blogs, podcasts, themes, TV, film, commercials, and more. Once again, that's achickwitbeatz.com, ACHICKWITBEATZ. Let's make something happen.
All right, thank you so much for tuning in to Music Marvels with Achickwitbeatz and Breezy Gipson. We are excited, thrilled, and delighted to let you know we have the one, the only Deep Spun Logic in the virtual building with us today. How are you doing?
I am good. How are you two doing?
Good. Well, yeah, we're glad to have you on. We're glad that you could join us, and we just want you to kind of tell us a little bit about yourself. Let the people know who you are and what kind of drives you to do all the things that you're working on at the moment.
Well, I am Deep Spawn Logic. I am a music producer and a jazz fusion artist, and I am also the host of the platform Artist Spotlight Sunday. And I started creating music during COVID, during 2020, after a bout of depression. And it helped me get me out of my depression. And I love doing it, and it just seems to be an internal passion for me. I always say that God blessed me with a gift when I needed it most, because I spent a long time, running behind my husband at his gigs and helping him out and stuff like that. So now he in turn helps me out with my music. But that's where that started. And I released my first single in April of last year, and that was The Other Side. And since then, I've released 8 singles, actually 9. I have the one that I just did on the 27th. And I have a couple EPs coming up. I have one EP coming up called When One Door Closes, and I have 2 more coming up in the earlier part of next year called Have Some and Have Some More. So I have that keeping me busy, along with Artist Spotlight, which I started in January of 2023. And it's just a platform that I started to, just shine a light on independent artists. Before I started doing this, I didn't realize what independent artists was going through as far as, getting their music heard and actually getting compensated for their art and their craft. And so I just wanted to do something to, help out a little bit.
Wow.
So that's basically it.
Well, that's excellent. Oh, man, you just shared so many gems throughout that. Especially saying how you got into independent artistry and then kind of noticing that and kind of wanting to help other people out. That's not something that you hear other people say a lot. They're constantly just looking for ways to elevate themselves and not actually kind of give back to the community at large. So I just want to say hats off, kudos to you for taking the time to do that and still handling your business on top of all that. Like that's really
I try.
impressive.
It's a lot. My cup overfloweth, and I just make sure there's a plate underneath the cup to catch all the overflow.
I love it. How about that, Breezy? Oh, maybe we got a little lag there. Yeah, so okay. You had mentioned music kind of helped you get through your depression. What kind of advice do you have to anybody that might be thinking right now, maybe they kind of have the urge to create, but they're having kind of trouble to get into that and kind of push past it the way that you do?
I just say that you have me. I'll just speak from my own perspective, because I do it for myself first. First and foremost, it's for my mental stability. It helps me personally. It helps me clear, my head to believe it or not, just go forth. I was my depression had me to the point where I just couldn't focus. My husband and I, we love watching movies, and I couldn't even sit down for 10 minutes at a movie without my brain wandering someplace else. So I use it as a tool for myself first and foremost. So I think you have to find your own purpose um, in wanting to do your craft and create your craft. And I think if you do it for yourself and you find pleasure in it yourself and you're satisfied with it yourself, I think that'll help you, push forward. And, as long as you believe in what you're doing, there's always an audience for, if you like it, then there's an audience out there for it. So I think everybody, if you have a passion for whatever it is that you have, I think you should do it and just push forward with it so that you have no regrets later on. You don't want to say, I wish I shoulda, coulda, woulda, So
Yeah,
I think that's important.
absolutely. What do you think about that, Breezy?
Yeah, it's really, really strong, really strong. I I was taken aback a little while ago when you mentioned one of the titles, when one door opens. Okay, that's one that has been
When one door closes,
when
yeah.
one door closes. That's right. I'm sorry. I'm
Hmm.
sorry. Um, I guess I kind of spoke what was on my brain because I have this feeling, this thought process that when people tell me that a door is closed, the first thing that I say is, "Oh, well." Matter of fact, I did it this morning with an athlete, a guy who had been playing football for some 3 years, 4 years in college, and he just got injured, and so now he's out for the rest of this season already. So that means his career is over and
Oh,
and
wow.
everything. So, but I sent him back to his mother, saying, "Well, hey, when one door closes like that, that means 12 more getting ready to open up." Okay, so
There you
yeah,
go.
you're lamenting over your injury and the fact that you're not out there with your buddies playing football. But hey, now that time is winding down. Okay, and 12 more days, 12 more doors are getting ready to open up for you. Okay, and that means some choices of some mighty good things. So when you mention that as a title, to me, it just was like so much positivity with that. I'm like, oh well, yeah, she's on the right track. Yeah.
Well, for me, that means a lot because it's actually me um, closing the door on because my depression actually started. I had a couple personal losses. My grandmother and my mom died. They passed away a year between each other, and then right after my mom passed, COVID hit. So it was just a lot, and we were isolated. And I just, my music has become very personal to me, and I find that I'm growing with it. And I feel that in order for me to move on and to continue to grow with it, there's certain things I can't let weigh me down. And I know for a fact that as much as I miss them, the way the world is going on right now, they don't need to be here. They're actually where they need to be. So I'm actually taking that on myself and just putting my grief to rest. I should put it that way. It's not closing the door on them. It's putting my grief to rest so that I can move on. And because there are 12 other doors I want to kick down. so
Yeah.
so it's me putting my grief to rest and saying, um, I'm good where I'm at, knowing that they're good where they're at. And I can continue to move on. I don't, like I said, God blessed me with something that I needed when I needed it most, and I don't want to disappoint him, and I don't want to disappoint them. So in order for me to keep moving forward the way I've been doing, I have to let the grief, put it to the side and let it go. I'm not saying it won't overtake me from time to time, but I can't let it engulf me. So I have to, just close that door and just keep moving forward so that I can shine for them. So
That is incredibly profound.
Mhm.
Wow. Yeah. So
Okay, you told us like about the projects that you've put out. You've got more in the pipeline, just ready to drop. Can you tell us a little bit about how, kind of moving from singles to EPs has been for you? Like, has it been a fun journey? Is it something you're excited about, or you're like, "Oh, this is a little more work than I thought"?
A lot more work than I thought. It's not as easy as just, putting the singles out and put the singles out, but it's a lot more work. But it's, being that this is something I want to move forward in doing, it's something I have to learn. It's a process I have to learn, and I have, like I said, these songs for When One Door Closes, I put that in the EP, and then I had some other songs. And I'm like, well, you know what? I'd like to do these other two EPs and then move on to learning more of this craft of music producing. Everything I do, I've learned myself. I do by ear. So there's so much more that I want to learn. So once those EPs are, done, I'll take, a break just to invest in the craft I want to continue into. So, but it is a lot more, and I love just learning the whole process of everything, and it teaches me more. It teaches me so much more about what other people are doing, what they're going through, what their frustrations are, what the joy is that they find in what they're doing. It teaches me a lot. So I love the process. I love learning the process. So if I have to, I find that I learn better doing it myself than watching other people do it. So I might as well just jump in the boat with everybody else and just push my music along too.
Excellent. Breezy, I can already see he's got the next question for you. Right?
Well, it's really not a question. It's more of a compliment. Okay, so what we're hearing and what the listeners are hearing is something that you're pushing forward. Okay, there's a certain strength in that, and that strength is one of not giving up. Okay, because a lot of times the little barriers get in there, and of course, the barriers sometimes it's weeding people out. A tiny barrier comes to them, a certain number they can't deal with that, and they just quit.
Yeah.
And see, so it's more than that. All right. So what I'm saying is, what I'm hearing through you is that when, based on your different experiences, when those barriers come up, it might be a little setback of some consequence, but hey, don't give up. You got to keep going.
Yeah, no, you can't. You got to barrel through, because time doesn't stop for no one. You can stop if you want, but time going to keep on going. Yeah. And when you finally wake up, you don't want to find yourself in, somewhere that you know nothing about. I mean, you might as well just keep barreling through. That's what life is about, is just, keep pushing and keep doing, especially if it's what you love doing. You want to put all that energy in what you love doing. I mean, if you're doing something you don't love doing, you might want to reevaluate that, or make some changes along the way so that you can eventually do what you want to do. But I think you should definitely invest and push and keep going, and don't let anyone. I tell people all the time, I am my own worst enemy. There's nothing you can put in the comments. There's nothing you can do, because I am always. I would stop myself from doing something before I allow someone else to do it. And if I'm not going to allow someone else to do it, I'm not going to do that to myself. Whatever I do, and whatever I put out is my 100% in that moment. I will always continue to grow, but I know in that moment when I've put something out, that is my best in that moment. So I'm always proud of what I do, and I create, like I said, I create music for myself, and I share it with everyone else, and they choose to like it or not. But as long as I'm content with the product that, gets put out first and foremost, I'm good with that. So I think that, you should just keep pushing forward and not worry about everybody else. Just be content with yourself and what you're doing, and everything else will fall into place.
Mm. Yeah, we need an air horn right there.
If I throw this in there too, as we've said here before on this show plenty of times, preparation has something to do with that too.
Okay, just because if the folks out there, if you don't spend the time, put in the time to get prepared and stay prepared, so when the little obstacles come up, you don't just fall apart. Hey,
Yeah.
you gotta spend some time being prepared. Preparation, right?
Yeah, and even if you're not prepared, sometimes it's just about staying calm and staying stable. You can't figure out nothing when your nerves are sparking
Rather.
off. You have to sometimes you have to step back and not get in your feelings about stuff and really think things through, so that you know that you're making the best decisions. Some people just let it overtake them, and then next thing you know, they're trying to figure out things while they're being overtaken, and their mind is disturbed. Sometimes you just have to be like, okay, this is the situation. Let me stop. Let me look at it and let me figure it out, as opposed to just keeping, oh my gosh, why did this happen? I can't believe this happened. I can't believe I made this decision. You can't do that to yourself. You just have to stop where you are and look at what the situation is, and then be like, okay, I'm going to take this lane right here and keep going.
Welcome to this segment of Music Marvels with Achickwitbeatz Breezy Gipson. It's a very, very special segment. And today, without any further hesitation, bringing to our group today is a young lady who's blazing a trail in her own right. She's multi-talented. She's very focused. She's on board and got some big plans that she's right in the middle of. So without any further ado, bringing to you the one and only Ansharia. Ansharia, are you there?
Hey!
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Okay, so you're just busting the door in today. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Okay, so share a bit about yourself as far as who you are, where did you come from, what are you representing on Earth today, and things like that, so our listeners can get familiar with you, the ones that haven't met you just yet.
Ooh, so I am from Denver, Colorado. I live in Dallas, Texas right now. I have been an artist for, oh my gosh, I don't even know how long. I think I was probably born an artist. But singing professionally for about 18 years now. I'm also very heavy in the performing arts when it comes to being a thespian. I love the Shakespeare festivals. Give me some Lady Macbeth and we are just best friends. So I love musical theater. Right now I am continuing the project Unveiled, which is available now for your listening pleasure on all digital outlets if you'd like to take a listen to that. So yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Okay, all right. So now you're juggling a whole lot of different talents, being such as you're not only a singer, but you're a model, actor, poet, writer, director. Man, I mean, so you're really stirring it up, keeping yourself busy and never a dull moment, huh?
Yeah. It's a hard task to stay focused on one thing.
Okay.
But I have been blessed to be able to do a plethora of things. So I am grateful for that.
Good deal. Achickwitbeatz, you got some thoughts?
And I mean, that's pretty amazing with all the stuff that you named. The creativity just kind of was flowing from everything that you described there. So yeah, tell us a little bit about, I guess, with all the different things that you're doing, what do you find yourself gravitating more towards currently, I guess?
So my main focus right now, my main two focuses right now is my music project and also my book, which will be coming out in the summer. That is called Little Black Dress. So I'm super excited about that. I can't wait for the press release for that. It's a really interesting book. So I hope you guys will keep your ears and eyes peeled so that you can grab it and love it. And the music project, and this was interesting that we chose today to, chat, because yesterday marked 1 year since my best friend, brother, and producer actually passed away. So it's a good and a sad moment, but I am so happy that I'm able to talk about the project that we did, because that allows me to remember that he is not forgotten and that our music is heard.
Very deep and very meaningful. Indeed. The fact that you're able to carry that torch on, that alone is a very, very significant piece of information right there. So, we lift you up for doing that, and just are just very surprised, but then at the same time, very, very respectful that you're doing that as well. So now, okay, share a little bit, if you could, into the aspect of being a poet. What's that like?
Oh my gosh, you get to just be free. So I think I may have heard someone say, like, the most the most expressive you can be with words turns into music. And it turns into such a melody that you can't get it out of your head. And I think that is really what poetry is, because when you can express yourself in a way that it's astounding and people are like, oh my gosh, and it sticks with them. I love poetry. Like it helps me. It's therapeutic for me. It doesn't have to rhyme all the time. You know, you have sonnets, you have your traditional poetry. Poetry is just great. And I probably sound like a dork, but I love it.
Well, if you are, I am too, because I love poetry as well. Yeah. Matter of fact, when I first started performing, I wouldn't even actually call myself a rapper, because it was basically just poetry I had written, performed to some of my music. And so what would you, I guess, advise any poet out there that might be listening, if they're feeling kind of apprehensive about sharing their work, or, you know, even just recognizing how much flexibility exists in poetry? Like, what advice would you have for them to kind of plug through and, you know, be able to express themselves and use it as therapy as you have?
Yeah, I think one, for me, I had to learn that my poetry was first for me. And then once I was able to accept the poetry for what it was and how it spoke to me, then I was able to share it with others. And once you share it, it is so beautiful, and not everybody is going to understand it. And that's okay. If they don't understand it, it's totally fine. I'm sorry if I cut out there. I was getting a call for some reason. But if they don't understand it, that is fine. But the prayer is that you're able to identify exactly who you are through your poetry. So like I've noticed that I have like an Edgar Allan Poe type of feel when I write. And I didn't notice it until very recently that I had that type of that kind of word structure. And I noticed I do that even in my lyrics for my music, because I wrote my whole album. But for any poet, I would say just make sure that you are true to yourself. And editing is always subjective. So if I say there should be a comma here, it doesn't necessarily mean you wanted to put a comma there. Or if we want to change the grammar here, it doesn't necessarily mean that is how you wanted it to come out. Because it's poetry, it's art. It's very, it can be very eclectic. So just be you.
Some gems
okay,
right there.
Now, let me suggest or give this input right here. Now, the type of person that you're coming across as, that I'm receiving, is a take charge person. The type of person that if I was in a room and if you were the speaker in that room, whether you're on stage or whatever, is that all ears and all eyes would be paying attention to every word you're saying, because you're not one to just lollygag. You're getting straight to the point, and that's a great thing. And so have other people given you accolades like that as well?
I really appreciate that. No, they have not.
Okay.
I definitely had to grow into that, and that has come, and I'm still growing with that, because you have to have a level of confidence within yourself in order to take charge of any situation, in order to be in complete and total control of yourself. I got a phoenix. Well, it's kind of like a phoenix / eagle, depending on who you ask, on my tattoo on my neck. But the tattoo meant to me supreme authority. And so supreme authority over myself, and not allowing anyone else other than God to control what I do.
Well said. Now, I know Achickwitbeatz has got a question waiting, but let me throw this in there. Now, around here, the hashtag women in music is very, very significant. And we kind of go out of our way to roll the red carpet out on to women in music or in the arts because of various connotations about some males not really opening the door or feeling like they have a certain superiority and but the way you're coming across, my friend, you're not hesitating at all to bust through the door, and that's coming across very, very good because you've got a strong place in what it is that you're doing, and I mean, there's no need to shudder in the corner. Might as well walk on, bust on through the door, and keep your plan to accomplish what you're trying to accomplish, right?
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that every person needs to possess that, because I think sometimes we allow others to hold our destiny in their hands, and it's not up to anyone but us. We got to put the work in, nobody should outwork me on getting me to where I would like to go.
Mm.
Well said.
Absolutely. Yeah, when you had said that, maybe you haven't really heard it as much as you should. It's one thing that I've kind of noticed a lot lately with a lot of people kind of feeling that way. But, a lot of times you get what I like to call closet supporters. Like they see you, they recognize what you're doing, but sometimes they just don't really know how to say it or, for whatever reason. But yeah, I love the fact that you still have the confidence anyway, because for every good thing that you hear, it's probably, at least 10 more people that feel the same way, but just won't tell you. But that's really phenomenal. The confidence that you exude and everything. I do have a question really quick though about your singing. Was that something that you've kind of always known, or you just kind of, had to work at it, or how did that come about?
Okay, so that's a two-part answer probably. So I'm a preacher's daughter, okay? My dad is a bishop, my mother is a preacher, and so we grew up in church, and of course, in the preacher's kids, they gotta sing in the choir, right? So I started singing when I was like 5 or 6 in the choir, but it wasn't my first love. It really wasn't. I wanted to be on stage and I wanted to be an actor. That's what it was. I wanted to be an actor. So then I found musical theater. And so when I found musical theater, it was like, oh my gosh, I get 2 things in one. And that's when I really, really fell in love with music, when I was able to couple it with acting. And so since I'm not always doing musical theater, when I'm stepping on stage, I step into the character of that song. So that gives me my musical theater.
All right, and that does it for this week's edition of Music Marvels with Achickwitbeatz and Breezy Gipson. Once again, we thank you for tuning in and joining us to hang out. We hope that you enjoyed those highlights that we had this week, and stick around next week. We've got some more coming for you. And of course, again, a super huge thanks to our home stations, Grander Radio out of Grand Rapids, Michigan, and Sparks Radio out of Atlanta, Georgia. And so till next time, you definitely know where to find us. Make sure that you tune in, tell a friend, and we'll see you then. Peace.